Welcome back to EndZoneBlog.com's Across the Middle show. I'm your host, John Kuzma, and we have a couple NFL stories we're going to talk about today. The first one we got is, do the Chiefs always have a chance with Patrick Mahomes? So the Browns started off red hot yesterday, and they were actually winning 22-10 at one point. But that's when the Chiefs came storming back, and we've seen this before from Patrick Mahomes. You know, there's times when he puts the team on his back and leads them to victory with his sheer will. We saw it in the Super Bowl when this team won over the 49ers, and we saw it again yesterday against the Browns. You know, it doesn't matter if the Chiefs are down in the second half, because Patrick Mahomes comes to life and he finds a way to rally this team. And, you know, it's not just Patrick Mahomes. He's also got, you know, the guy that's the best at going over the middle in Travis Kelce. And he's also got the best deep threat in the NFL in Tyreek Hill. Those two guys elevate Mahomes week in and week out. But there's no denying that, you know, Mahomes has a poise and he has a knack for answering the call. You know, the bigger the stage, the brighter he shines. And this is just a theme that, you know, keeps happening throughout his career. You know, it happened in the playoffs a few times. It happened in that Super Bowl. Like I said, it happened yesterday. You can never really count the Chiefs out because of Patrick Mahomes, and they're such a tough out. To use a baseball reference, you know, you think you have this team finished, and Patrick Mahomes refuses to lie down. And once he starts, you know, going and getting this offense going and kind of getting them clicking, I guess you can say, you know, they get momentum and they're just so tough to stop. And, you know, the Browns had them, but they let the Chiefs off the hook. And, you know, it wasn't necessarily just that the Browns let them off the hook. It was, you know, Patrick Mahomes refusing to lose. You know, we saw Tom Brady put together that, you know, game-winning drive against the Cowboys. Patrick Mahomes has that similar poise. You know, Brady doesn't crumble late in the game if he's losing. Neither does Patrick Mahomes. And you know, that's the clutch gene. You either have the clutch gene or you don't. Patrick Mahomes has had it since he came into the league. And, you know, luckily for the Chiefs, that's huge because he can bail them out at times because, you know, Cleveland was great in that game. They have those two running backs. Nick Chubb, first of all, is unbelievable. That guy is so hard to bring down. He's physically more gifted than almost anybody on the field. And then you have Kareem Hunt right behind him waiting, you know, for his shot. That tandem creates problems. But give the Chiefs credit. They weathered the storm. They improved to 1-0. You got to give a shout out to Chris Jones. He was really good in that game as well. So a big win for the Chiefs. The last thing you want to do is start off, you know, 0-1, especially, you know, this team was talking about going undefeated. That's a goal for them. You don't want to have that headline running all throughout the offseason and then lose your first game. So for them to battle back, for Patrick Mahomes to put the team on his back, it was impressive. And that's a quality win because that was one of the better matchups in week one, if not the best matchup. And the Chiefs, you know, kind of hold that upper hand over the Browns. Remember, these two teams are kind of jockeying for position in the AFC side of the playoff bracket. I know it's not the playoffs yet, but they faced each other last year. The game came down to the wire. This game was close again. So for the Chiefs to win both of those games, obviously big for their confidence, and they kind of walk away from both those games thinking, hey, we beat them twice before. You know, we kind of got their number. Sure, it's tough to stop those running backs, but with Patrick Mahomes and the magic he can create in the second half of those games. That's the thing. It always seems to be in the second half when the Chiefs' back is against the wall. That's when Patrick Mahomes really flips the switch and says, hey, I got to kick it up a notch to another gear. It happened yesterday again. Big win for the Chiefs. The other story I got is, did the Rams make a big leap with Matthew Stafford? So Matthew Stafford, we've all been waiting to see how he will change the Rams. And, last night against the Bears, Matthew Stafford showed exactly what he can do for the Rams. He starts off the night, right away throwing a bomb to Van Jefferson. And the thing that stood out about that play was how excited Stafford's teammates were. Everyone on this team has a Super Bowl on their mind. But, when Stafford made that throw, all those expectations that they have started to come to life. And, now the belief that this team can win a Super Bowl is becoming contagious. And everybody's starting to buy into it because, not only because of Stafford, they have a really good team too. Obviously pairing up the stars and Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, by pairing up those two superstars, that's really big for their defense. Then they get Matthew Stafford on offense. He comes in and he starts just chucking it deep. And, he did these things with the Lions, but he didn't have the Sean McVay system. He didn't have the talent around him like he has in, Los Angeles. Sure, he had Kelvin Johnson at one point, but outside of that, there wasn't that many great players there. And at the end there, it was really bad from a receiver standpoint. I mean, the Lions receivers right now are awful, god awful, maybe the worst in the whole league. Hawkinson's good, but that's all Stafford had. That's why he wanted to leave. He looked good with Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, had some nice throws to Tyler Higbee. Robert Woods is there. There's a supporting cast for Matthew Stafford. So now these passes look a lot better when they're actually being completed, because with the Lions, they were incomplete because the guy on the receiving end wasn't talented enough to make the catch. Or, he couldn't, get to the spot that he had to, get to make the catch. Things like that. Well, on the Rams, Cooper Kupp, those other guys, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, whoever it is, those guys can make plays. So it makes Matthew Stafford look better because he's got guys that bring out the best in him, so to say. The Rams look great, and to be in command like he was against a defense led by Khalil Mack, this was a quality win in week 1. Let's not forget the Bears were a playoff team a year ago. So there's no doubt this was a statement by Matthew Stafford. He gets a fresh start. Clearly he's feeling reinvigorated. I think the Rams are feeling the same way. Nothing against Jared Goff, but this team does look like they did upgrade at the quarterback position. Big win in week 1. Things are clicking. There's a lot of excitement. And like I said, this team's going to be right there. One of the best teams in the NFC. They'll probably, with how bad the Packers looked yesterday, the Rams could be the team taking on the Bucs in the NFC Championship game. And let's not forget last year, when the Rams lost, I believe it was to the Packers, I don't think Cooper Kupp played in that game. So having him back and having Matthew Stafford, it's going to be close. And let's not forget, the Bucs did look a little complacent against Dallas. Dallas took them down to the wire. Dallas probably should have won that game, if we're being honest. Brady had to pull a rabbit out of the hat and work his magic a little bit. But Dak Prescott and the Cowboys probably should have won that game. So if the Bucs aren't careful, the Rams could gain a little ground on them. It's to the point where the Bucs are looking over their shoulder at the Rams. That's the reality of the situation. Packers look like they've taken a step back. Chemistry is real, and obviously their chemistry isn't great right now. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be there. There's still talks that the Broncos are going to trade for him next year. That opens the door for the Rams in the NFC side of the playoff bracket. I'm John Kuzma. That's all I got today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Check out endzoneblog.com. I'm signing off.